Hello. So I have a bunch of miniatures on the shelf getting dusty, and I don't like it. Here's my storage idea. I took a thrift store picture frame and an old palette and made this display box. Put on a couple of hinges that I had lying around, stained it. Here's all the miniatures I've painted or have almost finished painting, and I'm going to group them together in small dioramas. Let's do the first one. So I've got this large square one at the bottom, because it's tall enough for my dragon miniature. The plan is to display the rest of them on some kind of rock formation. So I have some XPS foam here. You can get this pretty cheaply at the hardware store, apparently very easily in North America, not so easily in the other parts of the world. So easily, in fact, that this thick blue stuff, I just found it on my street. It like blown off like a construction site. Yeah, so pick that up for free. Anyway, I'm gonna cut off a bit roughly. We're making rocks here, the rougher the better, really. I also used a real rock and a ball of tinfoil, rolled it around on the foam, adds a bit more texture. Make sure you keep all those little bits because we'll use them, stick them together and make some more rocks. And that's what I came up with for that left side. Together with hot glue and filled out the gaps with wood filler, actually. Put some rocks on there already just to see what it looks like. There we go. Some extra bits and we're just gonna fill up the rest of the cave to make it look kind of cavey. As I said, filling in the gaps with the wood filler. Lots of filling. Here's my hand. Here's my hand again. Oh, it's my hand again. Got some rocks here, 3 different sizes. Got your venti, grande, whatever the other one is. I use wood glue here instead of PVA glue as I usually would, or white glue. I'm gluing mostly onto wood, so it seemed logical. Throw some rocks in there. Sprinkle them around, I don't know. Nature's random, just throw some in there. Toss away. That's probably not the right word to use. Anyways, yes, isopropyl alcohol helps the glue spread out into all the nooks and crannies. So I got a glass sheet here, got some tape on so I don't cut my hands. And I'm gonna use some hot glue to make some the stalagmites? Stalagmites, yeah, the bottom ones. The bottom ones, they kind of get dripped on by water and they collect in these kind of layered towers. So that's what I'm trying to mimic here. Found it best to do about 6 at a time, because then it'll give you time to go back and like kind of flatten them down a little bit while they're still workable. And just go to town. I'm using glass because it's easy to pull the hot glue off once it's dried. There you go, that's what they look like. For the stalactites, it's a little trickier. I tried to drip some hot glue down from this piece of glass. It's kind of fiddly, but they turned out okay. There we go. Not too bad. Stalagmites, they had about a 90% success rate, with the stalactites about 60%. Look at that huge tall one, it's kind of weird. That one fell over. Still kind of works though. This one's a little phallic, but we'll put it to good use. Using some hot glue to glue them down. I mean, they're made of hot glue and it kind of blends into the sand, so it works out. And I'll make it look like the bottom layer of the stalagmite. Stalactite? Frickin'. Can't get those straight. Stalagmite. Come on. use wood glue for these ones because they're gluing them right onto the wood. It seemed to work out pretty well. I think only one fell off. And there we go. That's all the construction. Next, we gotta paint it. We're using the classic Blackmagic Craft Mod Podge and black paint, but instead of brushing it on, I'm gonna use my magic painting wand. Ta-da! Alright. What? Oh. How'd that get there? Well, painting rocks is pretty relaxing. Just take a few different kind of colors and slap it on there. Used to be very apprehensive about painting. Afraid of making mistakes, but this, with painting rocks, I like it. Here I made some rust color. I made a bit of a wash. With rocks, it's just good to have a little variance in color. That's all you need. Instead of just the gray, just have like, put some beige in there, some green, some orange. Because we're covering it all with the black wash anyway. It's gonna bring it all together. I then like to use some paper towel and dab off from the highlights so that the wash isn't so uniform over the whole rock. Has some shadows already. And then highlight again a little bit just to bring out the pointiest bits. And that's the rock done. Now I just got to work on this backdrop. The idea was to kind of show some depth to the cave. It's a pretty shallow box. It's only a few inches. Never done one of these before, but I do know a couple of things that I was trying to go for. So the further away I know that things get more desaturated, you're gonna lose some clarity. It's getting darker as I go into the cave and kind of blur into a black hole. What I found really sold it was gradient on each layer, so you could see it was like deeper in shadow between each layer. You can kind of see that here. That really brought it together. And then just start kind of blending it in with what the existing rocks I got there. It's not going to be perfect. I mean, hopefully people are just going to be looking at your miniatures, your awesome miniatures. So. And then I had the sides and the ceiling to do as well. There it is. Paint a black border. Awesome. Pretty happy with that. Now on to the obligatory fancy shots. Thanks for watching. See ya!